you ever felt like the clocks inside a house just don't tick? That the moments inside a room become heavier, thicker, as if time itself has stopped flowing? What if there was a place where every second was trapped, suspended in space? Would you dare to enter? And more importantly, could you leave when time no longer works the way it should? 1. The Clock House, Savannah, Georgia. In the historic heart of Savannah, there's a hauntingly simple named residence, the Clock House. Once a noble estate filled with antique clocks in every room, each one believed to tell a story of its own. But something strange began one winter night in 1923, when the family living there vanished without a trace. All they left behind were clocks, frozen at the same time, 2:17 a.m. Ever since, visitors have claimed that time inside the house feels suspended. Phones lose battery faster, alarms never ring, and at times, figures appear outside the windows. Yet no footsteps, no voices can be heard. A team of researchers once installed time-measuring devices inside. They recorded each minute lasting 15 seconds longer than usual, as if the house itself was clinging to the final moment of an untold story. 2. The Watchmaker's residence, New Orleans, Louisiana. Tucked in a corner of the French Quarter stands a modest house that once belonged to a renowned 19th century watchmaker. Not only did he create exquisite clocks, he also believed time could be bent to one's will. Today, the home still contains many of his intricate machines and clocks, many of which never seem to stop ticking. Yet visitors constantly report strange phenomena. Whenever anyone tries to adjust a clock, nearby electronic devices glitch, reset, or shut down. A couple filming inside captured a clock spinning in reverse without explanation, a moment that sparked unanswered questions. Some believe the house rewinds time whenever the master clock is moved, making guests feel as though they're reliving moments long past. 3. The Drift House, Oregon Coast. Nestled along the rugged Oregon coast, Drift House is known for warping time itself, at least according to those who enter. Tourists have claimed they spent just 10 minutes inside, only to emerge and discover hours had passed. Some even say they heard whispers echoing from different versions of themselves in the weathered kitchen. The rooms are bathed in dim lighting and filled with aged furniture, creating the sensation of being trapped inside someone else's memory. Visitors have recorded clocks skipping, stopping, or randomly jumping forward without being touched. Time seems to shrink or stretch depending on who's inside, making Drift House one of the most mysterious time-related sites in the country. These first 3 homes don't just capture moments, they trap time, holding on to stories that never end. But the story doesn't stop here. In the next part, you'll step inside houses where memories repeat, and time doesn't just freeze. It bends, warps, and distorts in ways that defy all logic. Are you ready to go deeper into places where time no longer belongs to us? 4. The Loop House, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Known locally as the Loop, this abandoned Victorian townhouse gained its reputation after urban explorers began to notice a terrifying pattern. One video shows a group entering the home and heading upstairs, but their cameras glitched, then restarted, showing them at the front door again, repeating the same movements. They swore they had only walked through the house once, yet their footage showed them doing it 3 times, in a perfect loop. Locals say the home was once owned by a reclusive widow who walked the same routine every day, never changing course. Some believe her spirit is still there, walking, turning, climbing, forever. 5. The Photo Room, Deadwood, South Dakota. This house, left untouched since the 1950s, contains a single bedroom lined with hundreds of black and white photographs. Each photo is of a different person, but all are standing in the same position, in the same spot, as if arranged by unseen hands. Here's the disturbing part. Multiple visitors say the clock in that room always reads 3:03, no matter the time of day. And when the hour hand strikes 3:03 outside the room, the photographs shift ever so slightly. Heads tilted, eyes looking in new directions. One paranormal group claims they stayed in the room for an hour and saw 3 of the faces move. Others report seeing themselves among the photos on the wall, but wearing clothes they've never owned. 6. The room with no reflection. Detroit, Michigan. Inside a burned-out house on the east side of Detroit lies a single room that has never aged, untouched by fire, water, or decay. It's known as the reflection room, though, strangely, mirrors don't work inside. Visitors report that watches, phones, and even heart monitors stop working within the room. People feel lightheaded and disconnected, as if they're not fully present in their own bodies. One woman wrote that she entered the room with her husband and saw 2 versions of herself standing across the room, each whispering different words at the same time. No video or photograph has ever successfully captured the room's interior. The second you step out, your footage corrupts, leaving only static or a still image of your own back, as if something else was holding the camera. Time doesn't just freeze in these homes. It rewinds, distorts, and repeats. But the final 4 houses take it a step further. They don't just manipulate time, they erase it. Coming up next, places where you can walk in, but there's no guarantee you'll return at the same moment, or as the same person. 7. The Missing Hour House, Bar Harbor, Maine. This cottage by the sea has been abandoned since the 1970s. Travelers who explore it often report something eerie. No matter how long they stay inside, their watches and phones are always an hour behind when they leave. Locals call it the missing hour. One hiker claimed he entered at noon and came out at 12:05, yet the sun had already begun to set. His call log, smartwatch, and GPS data had a 62-minute gap, unrecorded, untraceable. The house itself is small, but has one hallway that seems longer each time you walk through it, like a loop expanding, stretching. Some believe it's a fold in time. A few even claim they returned home and found old messages in their inbox from themselves, dated an hour before they even wrote them. 8. The Frozen Wedding House, Charleston, South Carolina. This beautiful southern manor was set for a wedding in 1949, but the ceremony never took place. The bride disappeared the morning of the wedding. Her dress was found laid out, her shoes aligned, her veil still pressed. Food remained untouched. Music is still on the gramophone. The family abandoned the house that same day. Ever since, everything inside has remained the same. Visitors say time doesn't just pause, it refuses to move. You'll hear footsteps upstairs even if no one has walked there in decades. One photographer noted that after leaving the house, all his photos had one distortion. In every image, the clock hands all pointed to 4:44, even though none of the clocks in the house were set to that time. 9. The Dustless Room, Boise, Idaho. A crumbling farmhouse on the edge of town. Every surface is covered in years of dust, except for one perfectly clean room. The dust stops precisely at the threshold. Inside, everything is untouched. Bed sheets still fresh, candles never melted, a cup of tea still steaming, according to one explorer. And yet, there are no signs of recent entry, no footprints, no breeze, no temperature change. People who've entered say they come out unsure of how long they were inside. Some claim they remember things that never happened, like conversations they've never had, with voices they can't describe. It's as if the room preserves more than time. It preserves versions of you. 10. The House with No Shadow, Phoenix, Arizona. This house is plain. No stories of hauntings, no history of violence. Just a house that never casts a shadow. Locals pass by it every day, but no one remembers when it was built. No property records, no owners. At high noon, you can stand in front of it, and the sun hits your back. But the house? No shadow. Not on the street, not on the roof. Nothing. Those who've dared to go inside say there are no mirrors, no clocks, no reflections of any kind. Even your own shadow disappears while you're inside. A man once stayed overnight. He left the next morning and insisted it was still yesterday. He showed texts he hadn't received yet, emails marked unread that he'd already answered. To this day, he claims he never caught back up to the real world, that he's always one day behind. Time is supposed to be constant, but in these houses, it bends, loops, pauses, or disappears completely. So if you ever feel like your phone is off by a few minutes, or your reflection doesn't quite match, stop and think, where have you been? And did time come back out with you? So, would you spend a night in a house where time stands still? Let us know in the comments. And if you've ever been in a place where the clock didn't tick, maybe it's not because the batteries were dead. Maybe time was just waiting.